Okay, we're going to go ahead and talk about place value a little bit. We're going to represent numbers in different ways. We're going to represent numbers in standard form like I did right there. I'm going to represent them as in word form. I'm going to use verbal description, expanded form, expanded notation. I'm going to use objects to represent numbers, and I'm going to do a pictorial model to represent numbers. So the first way, and the way you're most used to seeing numbers, is in standard form. So the number we're going to do is 1,223. So the first way, or the second way I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you in word form. And we basically write it the same way that we say it. So that would be 1,000. I'm going to put a comma there just like I do when I do standard form. 200. And whenever I basically write a word that ends in Y and there's something in the ones place, so like 23, I hyphenate it. Or if it was 23,000 or 23 million, I hyphenate basically any word that ends in Y, I put a hyphen after it. Okay, so this is the word form for 1,234, or 30, 1,223. So I'm going to do a verbal description for the same thing. So, and how we do verbal description is we basically use kind of standard form and word form together. So that's 1,000. So I just wrote the one digit. I'm going to put a comma right there. I'm going to put a 2, the digit 2, and write hundreds. Two hundreds. Then put a comma. I'm going to put 2 tens. And then 3 ones. So that's going to be a verbal description for 1,223. Okay, or we could do it different ways. I'm going to show you a different way of doing it. We could go 12 hundreds. We could do 11 ones. And 1 1. So that's just a different way of doing it, writing it, and you'll see it like this sometimes. As a matter of fact, on one of the practice STAAR questions, they wrote it like this, and it kind of was confusing for y'all. So the next thing we do is expanded form. So expanded form for 1,223. So, and basically on expanded form, I'm just writing the value of each digit. So I'm going to start with the 1,000, and then I'm going to add the hundreds, which was 200, plus 20, plus 3. So that's expanded form for 1,223. Expanded notation. Expanded notation is pretty similar. We use addition and multiplication. So I'm going to write the digit, and then I'm going to multiply it by its place value. So expanded notation for 1,223 would be 1 times 1,000, and I put that in parentheses, plus 2 times 100, plus 2 times 10, plus 3 times 1. So basically I'm just multiplying by its place value. So 1,000, 2 hundreds, 2 tens, and 3 ones. So that's expanded notation for 1,223. Next what I'm going to do is I'm going to use objects to represent the number. So I'm going to use base tens. It is a real common way that we represent numbers in elementary school. So I'm going to start off with my cube there. That's a 1,000 cube. That represents 1,000. These are my flats, or my hundreds, and I've got 2 of those. two hundreds, and I also have two tens and three ones. So this is a way to use objects to represent 1,223. Okay, another way I can use objects, I can use this place value disk. So I have place value disks that have the place value on it. So I've got 1,000, I've got two hundreds, I have two tens, and I have three ones. So this is another way to use objects to represent 1,223. Okay, and the last way I'm going to show you is a pictorial model. And a pictorial model is basically, I'm going to kind of draw the objects. So, and we have a special way of doing it for it to make sense. So I'm going to draw a base 10 block. This is the way we draw base 10 blocks. So I'm going to do 1,000, and 1,000 is basically a square with this little, like a 7 over it. Kind of looks like I'm trying to draw a cube there. So that's 1,000. Then my hundreds are going to be flats or just squares. That's two hundreds. My tens or my rods are just lines. And then my units ends up being dots. And I have three dots to represent three ones. So that's 1,223. And I can also draw a place value disk. And they'll look very similar to the actual place value disk. So I'll draw a circle and I'll write 1,000 in it. Represents 1,000. I draw two more circles and write 100 in there. That'll represent 200. I draw two circles and write tens in there. Represents the two tens or 20. And then three circles. And I draw ones in those to represent the ones place. So that was 1,223. So we represented it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different ways that we represented numbers. And I'm going to show you one other thing too. I'm going to show you the relationship between the place values. Okay, and if you look right here, I have a 2 in the hundreds place and a 2 in the tens place. So whenever I'm trying to tell the relationship between those places, okay, and whenever I'm going this way, when I'm going up in place value, and I have the same digit in both places, so right here, okay, whenever I go that way, I'm multiplying by 10. So 20 times 10 would equal 200. So the relationship between the hundreds place and the tens place is times 10. But if I was to go the other way, if I was going to say the relationship between, when I go this way, I would divide by 10. So 10 is 1/10 of 200. So same thing. So if I'm talking about the value of the hundreds place in relationship to the tens place, okay, so if I took 200 and divided by 10, that would be the value of the 2 in the tens place, which is 20. So that's just another extra when we talk about relationship between the place values. So that's all for that video.